Welcome into the Oklahoman's video studio. Dave Morris, happy to be joined on this Monday morning by Mike Knopp, Executive Director of the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Always good to see you. Thanks for your time last week. You had some swift water rescue training going on with the firefighters. Thank you for your time and kind of walking us through all that.
Well, it's a really great program, and I think especially this time of year with the storms like we saw, on Friday, the kind of training they get in the Whitewater Center, I think is going to be very valuable. Yeah.
I was thinking that same thing because it was pretty intense when it blew through Friday morning here downtown. You could see nothing but white from the hail and the direction of the rain, if you will. But I was thinking that's exactly why you open that up, so that during a controlled situation they can get some training.
That's right, exactly, and I think it's a tremendous training tool. I think in many of the first responders I've talked to, they said they've already been able to utilize some of the skills that they've learned or they've refined. So,
educate me on this. When we get a heavy rain, and it seems like Oklahoma, it's either extreme weather or no weather at all. But when we get just a localized outpouring of rain, how does your facility handle that? How does the river handle that? How's the Whitewater facility? And I speak of complete ignorance. How's that work?
Well, no two times are the same. I tell you, and it's always a little unnerving when you do see on the horizon, multiple inches of rain coming, because that can be challenging. Now, the great thing about the river, from a flood control standpoint, is we've never had an issue with that. I mean, the river does what it is supposed to do, and it gets the water out of town really fast. So it comes through. That can create issues for us if we have our race course in or docks and things like that. So we always try to be prepared when we see that coming and try to do what we can in advance to sort of remediate the issues we'd have. A lot of the times that happens when you get a lot of rain up to the northwest and you have the runoff and the flow coming down the river, North Canadian River. But when it's more localized, it doesn't have as big of an impact, which is kind of like what happened on Friday. Even though we did get a lot of rain, it was a little more localized. So the issue for the river was not an issue. The Whitewater Center, it's just a matter of getting a lot of water, adding to our 8.2 million gallons of water in the Whitewater Center, and it did raise couple inches, and so we just manage that when that happens, and of course all the runoff, and you want to try to. We spend a lot of time getting trying to keep the venue as clean and clear as it can be. It's very clean, but as far as the turbidity and we try to get all those branches and mulch and things like that wash in, and so that's probably the biggest issue we see with the Whitewater is just what flows into it. So.
It's interesting. It's interesting to hear. It's not like your house where it's like, hey, pull in the plants and the lawn furniture. It's going to be a storm.
Unfortunately, there's not a pool cover for the Whitewater Center.
Well said.
Or in the case of the river, I have to explain this a lot of times. We have these cables that go out 2,000 meters for our lane lines, and especially this time of year, as we'll talk about in a minute. We have all the races that are coming up, and so it's sort of like a swimming pool where you have the lane lines, except in a swimming pool you can roll them in. These are 2,000 meter cables that are reeled out, and it's very, very. We always contemplate, could there be some really easy way to get that out really quickly, like raise it or,
Could there?
I don't. I haven't figured that out yet, but we have improved it a lot since the beginning through some of the MAPS 3 projects. And it's a very solid cable system, but still, when you get a big log flowing down in a heavy rain, it can create some problems. So,
Interesting stuff. You mentioned the events coming up the first weekend of May. We will talk about the Central Youth Championships coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up real quick. It's May the 6th and 7th. We do this every year. It's with U.S. Rowing. It's their Central Championship event, and it's one of those events that will drive lots of people to Oklahoma City from around this region, from Colorado, Louisiana, Texas, Kansas, Missouri. So it's an event that every junior rower, youth rower who wants to go to the national championship has to come to Oklahoma City, and they qualify. And it's great to have it here, for our athletes and for our families, and also in such a great venue. But the one thing you will see when you come out, you'll see a lot of college coaches as well, kind of scouting and looking at these athletes, and we expect our local teams to do really well. They've had a great spring, doing well at the regattas they've been in, and they're really nationally competitive program here in Oklahoma City. So it's a lot of fun to come out and watch, see all the boats, all the teams, all the athletes, and we're a pretty fun place to come to watch a race.
So that's the first weekend of May 6th and 7th. As Mike said, you can find more information about the events and schedules on the website at riversportokc.org. The next weekend, the Spring Youth League is going on.
Yeah. So the Spring Youth League, it's like just unlike the Central Youth Championship, these teams are all from Oklahoma City. It's our local high school and middle school league, and we feel this is a very special program to the Boathouse Foundation because it's part of our mission, trying to open up opportunities to all kids to experience this great sport, but also this world-class amenity that we have at the river, and to see how we can provide access to a sport that can lead to a college opportunity. And so we have schools from across the Oklahoma City area, and so I want to from everything Santa Fe South, U.S. Grant, Roosevelt Middle School, Oakdale. So really, we've got many schools, and so they're gonna compete under the lights, 500 meters. Wow. So that's one of the great things about having lights in our venue. Our kids, they think that's normal. They get to, it's like Friday Night Lights, for rowing, and they race for the Sandridge Cup, which is the championship. And
that's got to be a great opportunity for these kids. You mentioned Roosevelt and U.S. Grant, some Southside schools there, just for the local metro students to have a completely different experience.
Yeah, and it's fun to see all the parents and friends and families come out and cheer these kids on, and it's really a fun atmosphere. And every year it grows, and these kids are really the schools are really kind of getting into it now, and so we want to see, this is a program that we feel that should continue to expand, and we'd love to have every school, every middle school and high school in Oklahoma City have a rowing team at some point here. So
I mentioned that because I am a Southsider, so it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah.
Something else, though, coming up that people can get involved with is the Whitewater Festival and the tribute to Aubrey McClendon. You've outlined this in the past, but give us an update on that.
Well, so we have the Onward and Upward campaign that's underway and has been going on for the last few months, and it's to certainly honor our chairman, Aubrey, who was the founding chairman of the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation, really helped spearhead all this great momentum that we're enjoying here at the river. And so the campaign is doing really well, and part of the proceeds to this are to support things like we just talked about, the youth league, and
because there's certainly expenses involved in
and to continue to expand and create these opportunities and really keep the momentum alive in Aubrey's name. And we think that this is, the river is really making it's a generational impact here in Oklahoma City in terms of how it's changing culture, and it's getting people around and outside and active and on the water and on the trail, and we feel like we want to make sure we continue to sustain and grow that, and that's really in honor of Aubrey, so because of his leadership in that area. So we're raising funds. We're doing really, it's going very well. In the Whitewater Center, which we're going to name after Aubrey, as we've talked about before, we're going to have a wall that will be up forever, and it will have everybody who gives at any level to show their kind of, their respect and their kind of as a tribute to Aubrey and what he's done, not only for the river, but for the whole city. I mean, the whole city. And so this is something that we will unveil at the Regatta Festival in October, but at the Whitewater Festival here in May, we're going to have an opportunity for anyone to come up and they'll see where that wall is going to be and have a chance to get their name secured to be on that wall.
Good stuff. Another good update from this gentleman right here, Mike Knopp, Executive Director of the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation. Lots going on. Best of luck with all that.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. And again, their website, riversportokc.org, if you want some more information.
Thank you.